सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ सहनातु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Hari Om. Welcome to the class, everyone. And we will continue from yesterday, building up on how Bhagavad Gita is useful to us in our life. Bhagavad Gita is a book of solutions. That's it, Kunji. In Hindi mein, you have Kunji. So when you have this whole maths ke test papers, or when you have to clear some exams, so you have sample question papers, and then you have answers at the back. Kunji, answers, means there are solutions to the problems that were raised. Bhagavad Gita is a book, means it's a knowledge of solutions. It points also definitely to the problem also, to which it gives the solution. That means if I have to derive the maximum benefit from Bhagavad Gita and I must relate it to my life, I must have complete clarity of the problem that Bhagavad Gita discusses. Not the problem that I have. That's besides the point. It's not a personal viewpoint. Bhagavad Gita is a solution-oriented knowledge. Entirely solution-oriented. And if it is solution-oriented, it must be addressing some problem. That clarity, what is the problem that Bhagavad Gita is addressing? More the clarity we have, better will be our connect to Bhagavad Gita. When we say our connect to Bhagavad Gita, we mean connecting the knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita with our life. So there are two things I've said so far. First is, Bhagavad Gita, start from there, it's only giving solutions. If it is giving solutions, then it is also specifying a problem for which this is the solution. So what is Bhagavad Gita mentioning as a problem? And how does it get related to us? Because Gita says the problem is universal. सबकी है. अगर आप जीव हो, अगर जन्म हुआ है, अगर आप अपने आप को नाम रूप जानते हो, if you call yourself a name and a form, अगर आप अपने आप को एक इंडिविजुअल समझते हो and you have desires, इच्छाएं, आकांक्षाs, you have hopes, you have wants, you have desires, you have expectations, you have fears, you have anger, you have anxiety. If you just call yourself a human being, then you admit also that you have certain wants. That nature of want is not unique to A, B, C, or D, or a race, or a gender, or a time. That problem that it mentions, that want that we feel, all of us, whoever has a sense of individuality, Bhagavad Gita says, there lies a problem. You are not picked out individually to say you have a problem. It's universal, सबकी है. अगर सबकी है, does everybody want a solution? Not necessary. They are looking for it, but how will they approach the problem? So Bhagavad Gita, entire 18 chapters, the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna is focused on, and I'm using the word focus because while the classes will continue week after week, there will be a tendency to keep getting out of focus from this main topic. Because as the knowledge will keep unfolding itself, we will forget what it is addressing. What is it addressing? There is a human problem. Problem that humans have. Let me not call it a human problem. There is a problems which humans have. And problem is a terrible English word, actually speaking. It's just a कुछ है जिसको address करना है. Let's forget the word problem in English. There is something in human life which needs to be addressed. And that is what Bhagavad Gita is giving as a solution. And how is it indicating? We said it indicates that problem through symptom first. Because to point to what is the real issue, there will be a whole lot of unfoldment that a student should be ready to go through. Forget student, anybody should be ready to go through. So where does it start from? It starts from the symptoms of the जो है problem. उसके symptoms क्या हैं? It's like when you go to a doctor, what are your symptoms? You don't know what the disease is. If you know your disease, then you are not a patient, you are a doctor. When you are seeking the advice from a doctor, you go with the symptom. Then the doctor interprets the symptoms to his knowledge and through various tests and everything will conclude this is probably your disease. And therefore then the treatment starts. So what is the symptom that human beings express? The symptom in generalization has been spoken of as Samyak Sarati Samsaraha. Samsara is the problem. Samyak Sarati we saw wanderingness. Achhe se bhatakna. Hindi is good. In certain places I will be replacing it with Hindi because it conveys very well. Bhatakna. Kahan bhatakna? Srishti mein bhatakna. Feeling lost. Feeling unanchored. Feeling a sense of vagueness about things, feeling a sense of unaccomplishment. However much you've accomplished, there's always that feeling lurking that there is more to do. Maybe there is something else I should be doing, etc. This bhatakna, Shastra says, is not a lifetime bhatakna. It shows the entire cycle. Bhatakna is your symptom. And this bhatakna means Janma Janmantar bhatakna. Being born, going through Shadvikar of the Sharir, and going through experiences that you have entitled yourself for in that Sharir, associated with Sharir, going through that as the Sharir ages, when it reaches its last point, up to that point, there is this life that you wake up to every day. And that life, in Vedantic view, is your key, is your punji, is a key that you hold with you. This key, if utilized well, you should know what lock it opens. It can completely free you from this bhatakna. But if it is that your waking day is, you can't find the key, you've lost the opportunity to figure out how to get out of this bhataknaness. So samyak sarati samsaraha is the problem. Why are we in samsara? That cycle is avidya kama karma prayuktaha janma marana pravaha samsaraha. We saw this for those who did the Upadeshasar class. We saw it in Upadeshasar. Avidya kama karma prayuktaha. Once there is this feeling of कुछ और करना बाकी है, कुछ और बनना बाकी है, कुछ और हो जाए, that thought that I feel a little sad, I feel a little empty, etc. It is this inner void. It's this inner emptiness, khalipan. This khalipan brings about ichhaएं, desires. This khalipan is just one word. It doesn't mean that there's just khalipan, that is the, it is indicative. Lakshan hai ye, khalipan is a lakshan. Incompleteness. You just don't feel full. Pura nahi feel ho raha. There is something lacking always. That one word is void. Because khali lag raha hai, to usko bharna chahiye na. You have to fill it with something. So then you have, ye kar lete hain, wo kar lete hain, let's go here, let's do this, etc., etc. There are desires that are erupting, mushrooming, I would say. You know how in monsoon, suddenly you have a grass mushrooming, you have wilderness mushrooming everywhere. Within a week or so, everything's so green and everything's come from what was seeming to be desert, life has erupted. From that khalipan, as if there is this ichha, ek veg chadta hai. There is udbhavana, there is eruption. Ye kar lo, wo kar lo, yahan chali jao, wahan chala jao, aisa ban jao, ye nahi karo. All of it is centered on those desires are now emerging, ichhaएं ban rahi hain, with an idea that they will fill up my void. मुझे पूरा कर देंगे. That is how most of our life born to gone between all this. Actually, it only steps between these two. And this is universal. From this ichha, because of ichha andar hai, imagine, my favorite example has been when the malls came. Now it's become, I don't know actually, but when the malls were newly in the society, when they formed in our city, everybody had to visit a mall. And then you would see so many things. And then you would want something, you come with something, but you bring in your mind two other things. At that time, you don't get them. But in your mind, you bring them with you. You think you don't need them. You've rationalized it. But later on, 2, 3, 4 days, what happens to that nature of ichha jo ek ban gayi thi? It's constantly disturbing the mind. Halka halka, in the background. आप कर रहे हो अपना काम, जीवन चल रहा है, सब कुछ जो करना है हो रहा है, बट पीछे maybe I should have, maybe I'll need it tomorrow, maybe I should, what was the harm in getting extra? Maybe I'll pass it on. Justifications will start. Why I should get it. That justification started when you could not handle the desire at its level. वो अंदर ही अंदर चलती चल रही है, बढ़ती जा रही है. It's a pravah. It's a flow. So it starts with a thought. You saw an object. It appealed to your eyes. You went and touched it. Second sensory engagement. And then maybe you heard someone behind, or you had heard your friend say something. Some connection your mind will make with that object, and suddenly the next thought will be, I want it. So nice. First, no, before I want it will be, it's so nice. Don't you think so? Whoever's with you will ask the person. तुम्हें नहीं लगता कि बहुत, we should get it? This is nice. All this is a process of what is happening to the individual. The thought is beginning to grow strength. It's beginning to become heavy. Gurutvam para means it's beginning to become heavy. The flow is getting stronger. Till it reaches the point, supposing you've not got it and you've come back home, now piche that thought is lingering. And suddenly, sometime, if your mind is not strong enough to handle that, it will end up saying, I think I should go get it. I want it. Now the connection is what here? The desire erupted because you felt it is going to fill this void. And then the desire did not go away on its own. Then it multiplied till it surfaced as a want. I want the object. Want has become strong. Now you will propel into an action. Karma karne lagoge. You will go towards it. Or if it's an unpleasant thing, you will go away from it. But karma will get generated from that desire, because that karma is now with an idea to fulfill the desire, and the idea to fulfill the desire is that it will fill you. You'll be happy. That karma, when you get it, will have its results. Here in this example, you get the object. You feel happy for some time. That's the point. There will be some happiness. That disturbance that you felt of that desire, for some time it quietened. एकदम सब मिल गया ना, तो लगता है अब भर गया. Now मिल गया. I'm tripped. But slowly what happens, within a few days, acclimatized, and now that object is lying there, but the void recognition has resurfaced again. This is only one example. But you have to multiply this, because it's happening at various levels. Now the void has resurfaced again. And now what do you need to do again? Now you have to look for something else. And this is how what we are saying, the world is moving continuously into a material realm and advancing its material objects, only because we are thinking that getting objects is the solution to human problem. If we acquire better and better objects, more and more conveniences, better quality of our lifestyle will ensure that this lurking khalipan inside will go away. Ye pura ka pura is what Shastra will say is anuvad. This is not knowledge. The Shastra has told us this so that we recognize it. This is we, our life, humans everywhere. This is anuvad. Anuvad means just restating what our experience as a jiva is. stating the problem first, only then the solution will be addressed. So this that it states, the cycle that it is continuously there, here Vedanta says and Gita says, the void that you feel, बहुत ध्यान से सुनने की बात है ये, the void that you are feeling is not real. ये है नहीं, ये है ही नहीं. और जब तक ये बात समझ नहीं आती, till we recognize कि ये void नाम की चीज ही कुछ नहीं है, जब तक ये बात समझ में नहीं आती, ये मानना कि मेरे को खालीपन है, I want something, I want this person to be like this, then I will be happy, all this conditional happiness that we seek, that conditional happiness seeking is not going to end till this recognition is there that there is nothing called void. And that non-recognition that there is no void in the first place. So what is there in its place if there is no void? Is it shunyam? Is it khali? Absolutely. Am I non-existent? No. What is there in its place, Shastra says, is your real जो है, let's put it this way. नाम कुछ भी दे दो अभी के लिए, जो है. और जो है क्योंकि वो समझ ही नहीं है कि क्या है, तो इसलिए वो void खालीपन लग रहा है. It's like saying, most of us, when newly we put on glasses, जब नया नया लगता है, at whatever age we had, most of us were teens when we had our glasses. It has invariably happened, I think, to everybody, that you have your glasses on your nose and you're looking for your glasses outside. Isn't it? Yeah? Happened to anybody? You're looking for glasses and then somebody has to point to you. Are you're already putting... Afterwards, you get used to it, so you forget about it. But shuru mein, suddenly you have to by chance look into the mirror. Oh my God, it's here only. All along, where was your glass? Here only. But where were you looking for it? There. Maybe that corner, maybe that room, maybe in the car, maybe in the office, maybe somewhere else. That bhatakna started because you did not recognize that you already are wearing them. So who you are, when this is not recognized, that void is felt as real. And as long as ये real लगता है ना, ये problems real लगती हैं, ये issues real लगते हैं, ये wants real लगती हैं, till then, samsara is your symptom. So what is the root cause? What is the disease? Call it a disease here in this example. What is the root cause of this samsara? ना जानना कि मेरा void है ही नहीं. That is called avidya. So avidya, presupposing avidya. This avidya is a very big crucial factor to convey the Gita, Vedanta. This avidya, as long as it is there in the form of non-recognition of the fact of who really is there, है क्या यहाँ? Till that examination comes in a jiva's life, kama karma prayuktaha janma marana pravaha, endless this is. And the day anybody understands even this much, your growth has started right away. Your maturity, inner maturity, your thinking has already enhanced a lot because you're in recognition of a fact. Janma marana pravaha. born from kama karma is a fact and nothing can alter it till I examine what I feel as real. What is its nature? So Gita is addressing this samsara nivritti, elimination of samsara. Khatam, hai hi nahi, rehta hi nahi, because the minute I've seen that my specs are on me, do you think I will bhatko any further to look for them? Can I? I've already recognized. Now I will be enjoying a laugh. क्या क्या नहीं पागलपंती की मैंने, यहाँ गई वहां गई, ये किया वो किया, इसको फोन किया उसको फोन किया, गाड़ी में भागी, ढूंढती गई ढूंढती गई. Now I will laugh at my fallacies, at my follies, because it's silly that I did not look at it. It's as simple as that. Brahma Vidya is as simple as that. It's just silly that I didn't look at it. Somehow I just got so involved in this kama, karma, prayukta, janma, is life में ये करना है वो करना है बहुत कुछ. It's just too much. It takes too much of an attention. So I somehow miss that this void is real. I have to put my mind to it to examine, for which I need knowledge. But this much is what is the samsara problem. That Gita is a solution, is giving us a solution. After every chapter, there's going to be a small couplet left written. It is a mokshastra and it is a dharma shastra. So if I go back to this previous thing, because we are experiencing the void and desires are erupting because of it, until I understand that there is no, because मेरे कहने से कि मैं खाली हूँ, खाली नहीं हूँ, it doesn't disappear. I can fool myself for some time, but something else will make me again unhappy, unsettled. Till this is clear, that karma that I generate, this karma becomes, like I said, the key in the Jagrat Avastha. And that karma, Bhagavad Gita addresses it entirely, and it is a dharma shastra because Gita starts from the fact that if your karmas are dealt properly, if you are diligent, careful, if you are performing your karmas correctly, as best as you can, there is nothing like perfection in karmas, but if you are diligent in your karmas, the samsara gati, you can make it a little more bearable. It will not end, but it will be bearable. Not only bearable, you can even enjoy it. You can reach up to this point. Hai to hai na, why suffer in this world? Jo hai so hai, why should I suffer my life? The attitudes begin to evolve with knowledge. So what Gita does is, it for moksha shastra means you will qualify for moksha, that you don't have void, that you are a full person, is the state of moksha. But for that moksha to come, to recognize, dharma is the way. Karma is the way. Dharma is what is going to be elaborated in the 18 chapters, imploding human beings, guiding us to first establish our life according to dharmic view. Live a dharmic life. What is dharma? But natural. We all must be knowing, I'm sure all of us have some vague background of Vedantic knowledge. 4 Purusharthas is common now, for most of us have heard it. Artha, Kama, Dharma, Moksha. Purusharth is a very technical, beautiful word. all human beings by default will aspire for one or the other. By default, you will aspire for artha and kama. डिफॉल्ट से मतलब कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है, ऑटोमेटिकली आप उठोगे जीवन में जैसे ही आप बड़े होते रहते हो, राइट फ्रॉम योर चाइल्डहुड, द मिनट यू वेक अप एंड योर लाइफ स्टार्ट्स टू एक्सप्रेस, you will have desires and you will start seeking fulfillment of that void. And the nature of that fulfillment is either you will be in the karmas to do artha. Artha means make yourself secure, get means to secure yourself, because there's a insecurity felt always as a jiva. कल क्या होगा किसी को नहीं पता. It's a part of the human problem. Nobody knows what is to happen tomorrow. So some of us become weak with that thought. And so we start collecting things with an idea. Things and people and relations, and there's a mess sometimes that people get into because they think isko bhi pakad lete hain, usko bhi kar lete hain, ye bhi. All this will make us secure from within. Yeah, some basic security is legitimate, is correct. But to acquire things because it'll make me secure. Other thing is kama. Kama is pleasure. My entire human life will go away because I want to be happy. So how can I be happy? With the fulfillment of a desire that I think I will be. Desires are all sense-centered. Therefore, sense engagements, let me now watch a movie, let me now eat this, let me meet my friends, let me do this, let me go out, let me... Ab ye ho gaya, ab wo karte. Something that you keep throwing up on the world to say, ye karke mujhe anand milega, therefore let me do this. So my life goes between artha and kama. This is by default everybody. This is what we call as instinctive, impulsive life. Everyone starts from there. Everyone has an instinctive, impulsive life. You will want to never feel insecure, so you will entertain actions, pick up careers, earn money, earn relationships, invest in everything that is possible, thinking tomorrow. And a lot of people make the silliest thing of concluding that in old age, this will help me, that will help me, that will have all that. You know? Now, artha and kama, I'm saying, is by default. Nobody has to teach us this. Even a newborn child knows where its food comes from. Where does this knowledge come from? कोई शास्त्र ने तो नहीं पढ़ाया. Newborn child who doesn't even have an aham vritti yet formed. I bhi nahi cognition usko. Before it even understands that it's now embodied. That newborn cries instantly. And that crying is survival for sure according to science. But the minute it cries, it knows also, now I am here. I have come here now. एक अंदर ही अंदर, of course I'm exaggerating a little here, but a child cries and knows when it's hungry, it knows where the food is, it goes straight to the mother. Not just a human child. A prani. All the pranis. But where will the distinction come? Bhagavad Gita says, if the samsara is really your concern, and you want a solution, I have the solution. Vedanta also says, Vedas say, the whole knowledge is only solution oriented. If you want solution, then the first thing you have to do is direct your life, choose in your life, starting from dharmic perspective. Dharam se. Start from dharma. This dharmic life will lead you to moksha. Here in the context of Gita, Adhikari is Arjun. Arjun is representing all of us. We are fairly good people, but fairly lost. Both things are there. This who's in the midst of life is now going to be told to perform educated, because you will need education to see what is dharma. Shastra educates us. That dharma, living that dharmic life, will pave itself towards moksha. And that moksha means that shastram is entirely the Upanishad shastram. No dharma is mentioned, hardly any much. But now you are matured to accept that ye void hai nahi. I hope we see the connection. Today we may have difficulty accepting in nahi nahi. How can you say I don't have a void? Of course I have this problem. Of course I have that problem. Most of us are having helper problem. We have career problem. We have money problem. We have partner problem. How can you say we don't have problems? You may not have. We have. Itni nahi hogi, but there are, everybody faces it. That means, where are we in this adhikaratva? There is still some unwinding of our mind to detach from what we have hooked onto. The Gita will tell us how to do that. And slowly, once you have fastened yourself on a dharmic attitude, thereafterwards established in it, dhire dhire the maturity is there and moksha is the way. So, to choose a dharmic life now brings the context. What is dharma? And that brings the context of an inner conflict felt. But before I move there, I want to show a small video. Some of you may have seen it, but it's a very beautiful, I find it very beautiful and conveying Artha, Kama, Dharma, Moksha. I will just try and share this. Now you can hear me also. Okay, I'll restart. I think automatically it switches off the video, the audio when it shows the video.
When you share the screen, you have to select the optimize for video.
I did that. This is done, but I think when they are sharing the video, they are presuming the video has a voice, so they are by default disabling the voice here. But never mind, I'll just. These were over here, the ants, busy collecting their food. And it's very, very, very beautiful. It's early morning, and there's something over here, a whole stream of ants you can see hustling and bustling. And right below is this sadhak in front of Ganges is doing his prayer, and he stands there for quite some time. We are both living beings. What is an ant? Living being. What is it busy doing? Collecting for what? For?
Survival.
Hanji? For?
Survival.
Exactly. Another word would be security. It is collecting for security. Survival is security. And it doesn't know anything else. The limitation, obviously, of the example. It doesn't know anything else. There was a human being that went across here with that tokery of flowers. Just at the end. What is that human being also busy?
Fulfilling his duty.
The one who went with the flower, who was selling flowers.
Security.
He's also,
That is security of that.
Money.
he's also, it's a job for him. He's also busy earning. He has to provide for his family. He has to work. Everybody has to work. There is no denial of that. Who's this person in the center doing? Is he not a human being? Is he not a living being? Does he not have to survive also? Does he not also need money for food and shelter and everything? Should he not be doing what others are doing? Am I conveying the point? He's also a human being, like everybody else. Should he not be also doing what everybody else is doing, any living being is doing? And this is where, if you remember this throughout your Gita learning, however many months and years it may take, if you will forget what it's addressing, you will get lost in the maze of the knowledge that Gita offers. The direction of the vision will, there'll be so many things being said. But what is Gita really addressing? It is saying that this artha and kama, that seems to be a natural propulsion for everyone, there is a possibility, while artha and kama can continue, you may have to be inclusive, include a dharmic perspective to your artha and kama to start with. So bring dharma into your life. So from dharma, a life changes. Human life can change. Till artha and kama, can any one of you say what is going to be the end of that life? If nobody answers, I will think that I am just not clear enough in expression.
Remaining in the circle of life and death.
Absolutely correct. That samsara is going to be your gati. There's no excuse, there is no way out. Life lived only on artha and kama will end only at that and will restart the cycle again. If you want a change to happen, human life is your only opportunity. Dharma can only be attempted by human being. Correct, all of you correct. Dharma can only be entertained by a human being. Only he has the faculty of operating a free choice. So, the choice to convert my life on grounds of dharma is the guidance that Gita gives to all of us who are actually starting from the point of samsara. Which means we don't have much thinking about what is life, what is God, where did all this start from, what will happen to me. हमने ये सब चीजों में ज्यादा सोचा नहीं है. We haven't bothered much. You know, everybody works, we work. Everybody lives, we live. You know, find your happiness through some way or the other. But a person who makes a conscious decision, the minute he says, okay, I need to do something so that I am at least evolving, growing. If I'm fed up of my one cycle, then this is the same cycle always. If I'm fed up of a cycle, then I have to find a way. And Shastra shows that way. And it starts from bringing Dharma in the context. And wherever there is Dharma brought in your mind, a conflict will arise. There will be an inner conflict. What will be the conflict? There are two kinds of conflicts, broadly speaking. One conflict is between two sets of desires. मैं ये खाऊं कि मैं वो खाऊं, मुझे दोनों खाना है. मैं यहाँ जाऊं कि some similar. I'm giving very fundamental. But there'll be always both desires are centered on your artha and kama. Both have the end. This will give me more happiness, or that will give me more happiness. So the conflict is which desire should I fulfill? But there is a conflict. क्या करूं? कौन सी desire पूरी करूं? The other conflict is there is a desire also, but there is also a sense of duty. कि अब मैं अपनी desire पूरी करूं कि मैं duty करूं? Because duty, desire can be for the duty, that's okay. But in duty, it's not necessarily your desire getting fulfilled. The point important is, there is a conflict. This is all a build up to, I'm not out of the context, okay? This is all going to be Arjuna and Dhritarashtra and the entire Gita. The arise of a conflict, inner conflict experienced. When does this conflict come? When the question has come to a person, what is the right thing for me to do? What is the right thing for me to do? I'll repeat another question. What should I do? In Hindi, it is more eloquent. मैं क्या करूं? मुझे क्या करना चाहिए? Do you see the flavor of the two questions? Are different? मैं क्या करूं? मैं क्या करूं? Where is the focus on?
Me.
Me and my fulfillment. मुझे क्या करना चाहिए? Where is the focus on?
Everybody.
Correct. Me also included. And क्या करना चाहिए, that is going to be good. Not only for everybody, for me also. That word is called Shreyas. What is that what I should do, which should be Shreyas, which should be uplifting for me, which will lift me up? You know, a lot of us who are totally engaged in senses, mood kharab hota hai, then if you have a good friend who understands your silence better than your words, and that good friend decides to say to you, अरे यार चल इसका कुछ आज mood ठीक करते, lift करते हैं इसका mood. Let's lift the mood up. Lifting a mood, what do we mean? Here the idea is Shreyas, lifting my samsaric gati in such a way that there is less samsaric experience there. That ऐसा मैं क्या करूं? How? What should I be doing that this samsara gati is getting addressed? in the same situation, in my same life where I am. When such a question arises to a person, now this has started indicating the emergence of an inner conflict. So the first set of conflict between desires, this and that, unness, bees, that's really not a conflict, truly speaking, and that is not what Vedanta will address or Gita addresses. Should not be addressing. You'll have a lot of Gita interpretations floating in the world which actually address as if Gita is addressing those conflicts. No. What is the point of addressing that conflict? Because even if it teaches you how to fulfill desire, you will be empty again. How can Gita be a Shastra giving you knowledge of increasing your productivity or efficiency, etc., etc.? Because you will be empty again. Even if you suppose that it has fulfilled you for some time. So Gita is addressing the conflict that will come to a person who is intended in wanting to reduce at least first, find more peace in life, relatively, and therefore starts to question himself, herself, what is the right thing for me to do under these circumstances, quote unquote, in this situation, quote unquote. जो भी मेरी situation आई है, which is giving me dukkham at this point, I mean maybe in the midst of samsaric life, but my focus is, what should I do that it will reduce it and ultimately end it? All this conflict, when it is experienced of this nature, is actually centering around values. What value should I follow? What value should I abide in? What value will give me greater peace? What is the value which is in line with the law of order, natural order? What should I do? Means this question should be very beautifully understood by each one of us. And we should recognize it as our question when it has been there or when it arises. That value is actually a superficial term, but it comes from the deeper understanding, and that understanding is dharma. So values is just a superficial expression of recognition of kya karu, kaun sa value follow karu. But dharma is the inclusive factor. So the question then starts to come as, it has evolved now. It is not just what is right thing for me to do. For one who has understood this basic principle, your question will now here afterwards be, what is my dharma to follow? What is my dharma? If my attention is, इस situation में मेरा धर्म क्या कहता है? धर्म is not religion, please. इसको तो बिल्कुल दिमाग से निकाल देना. इतना terribly mixed up हो गया है in society. Dharma is not religion. What is my dharma to do? If I ask this question, Gita will start talking to you. And this is what Arjuna asked Krishna. He says, asks Krishna, what is Shreyas for me? What should I do? He's not asking a simple thing like, Are, I want to take sannyas, let me go away. No. There is an inner conflict. A desire has erupted to say, I can't. He's attached to his grandfather. It is his own guru standing, whose grace is why he is Arjuna. He's learnt it from him. And look at the irony of nature. He is placed in front of them. And in the name of dharma, he can only win the war if he kills them. जिनसे सीखा है, उसी को मारना है. How much inner conflict can there be for a person? Gita has epitomized that conflict. Most of us won't have such degree of conflicts in our life. But why Gita presents it is, Because even under such extreme circumstances, dharma cannot be let gone. You cannot give up dharma. So Arjuna asks Krishna, and who's Krishna? Very interesting. Dharma is that, remember the root we said is dharati. It holds law, it holds order, it holds you. Laws that uphold you. This upholder is Vishnu, Sthiti Karta. Vishnu himself is Krishna. So what is Arjuna's question to Krishna? Who is the Lord of Dharma? He's the Lord of Sthiti, maintenance. Arjuna is asking him, what is it that is right for me to do? Mera dharam kya banta hai karne ka? Not religion. Mera dharam kya hai? So dharma in a very general term are two kinds. Samanya dharam, Vishesha dharam. There are many dharmas it's a big topic. But here, simplifying it first. Samanya dharam means a general dharma that all of us have. What is principle behind that Samanya dharma? To identify that Samanya dharma, the principle is, what I do not like to be done to me, I should not do to another. If I don't like someone cheating me, complete the sentence.
I should not cheat with others.
That's it. That is a Samanya dharma. How will you identify my Samanya dharma? जो मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता है अपने लिए हो, मेरे साथ हो, वो मुझे किसी के साथ नहीं करना चाहिए. This is Samanya dharma. Then there are Vishesha dharmas, specific dharmas. Those specific dharmas are according to your individual roles and stages in life. Vishesha dharmas are different for different stages and different roles that each one of us plays. According to that, your dharma can be determined. Now, basically, what is dharma? Because it's a vast topic, and Gita has started from Dharma Kshetra, and therefore I want to cover this clearly. In a very general, I'm not sure because this English is expressing it well, so I have brought it here. Dharma is that organizing principle. In Vedic culture, it should be, from Vedic perspective, that applies to human beings in solitude, means on their own, in their interaction with other human beings, and in their interaction with nature, as well as between inanimate objects, to all of cosmos and its parts. So what is dharma? It is an organizing principle between everything, because everything is connected. What connects everything? In simple words, dharma connects. The entire Srishti is connected on the principle of dharma. It refers also, in another way to put it, it also refers to the order in general sense. Yes. Is dharma duty? Yes. In a general sense. English, you can call it as duty. It also refers to order and customs which make life and universe possible, and includes now not just actions, behavior, rituals, rules that govern society and ethics. Hindu dharma means dharma principle. Absolutely magnificent, true. Includes the religious duties, moral duties, and duties of each individual, as well as behaviors that enable social order, right conduct, and those that are virtuous. This is generalized to understand dharma. In its entirety, its application kahan hai? It is such a vast application. In fact, dharma is the connecting principle to entire creation. That is, wherever there is creation, dharma has to apply. There is nothing that cannot be in the folds of dharma. That is why Manu says, this is a famous part. 1/4 of this has become very famous. The famous part is Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. The full verse, Manu is Manu Shastra, Manu Smriti is Dharma Shastra, Dharma Shastra written by Manu. Too many principles there, but generalizing it all. The basic general principle is Dharmo eva hato hanti. Dharmo rakshati rakshataha. Very important. Dharmo eva hato hanti. Whoever kills dharma, dharma kills them. Hato hanti. अगर आप धर्म को मारोगे तो धर्म आपको मार देगा. हतो हंति. धर्मो रक्षति रक्षतः. If you will protect dharma, dharma will protect you. Tasmat, therefore, dharmo na hantavyah. Never ever kill dharma. Mano dharmo hataha. Then dharma will not kill you. You should not kill dharma. Hataha avadhitaha. Dharmo hataha avadhitaha. You should know what is dharma. So know what is dharma. Learn what is dharma. Don't continue to pretend that you know everything when you know just the worldly subjects. If you do not know what is your duty, what you ought to be doing, then you do not know. Learn. Shastra says, learn. Dharmo rakshati rakshataha. When you follow dharma, dharma protects you. And this principle Krishna is going to talk of in the second section of the Gita, 6th chapter onwards till the 12th chapter, where he will say, you surrender to me as if I will protect you. What he means to say, you follow dharma, dharma will protect you. In the 16th verse, in the 16th chapter of the Gita, it's summarized beautifully. Krishna's words, these are Krishna's verses in the 16th chapter, end chapter, last 2 verses of the 16th chapter, he says, Yaha Shastra Vidim Utsrijya. Yaha Shastra Vidim Utsrijya. Whoever Utsrijya, उठता है, disregarding Shastra Vidhi. Whoever disregarding the dictates of the Shastra, Shastra Vidhi ko, whoever उल्लंघन करता है, उत्सृज्य में उल्लंघन करता है, वर्तते काम कारतः, and lives under the control of his own actions, desires, and acts according to his own inclinations. Artha and kama, the starting. वर्तते, रहता है, जीवन अपना बिताता है. कैसे? कामः कारतः, based on his own desires and his own inclinations. अपनी मर्जी, मेरी मर्जी. That मेरी मर्जी. मैं चाहे ये करूं, मैं चाहे वो करूं. तन्नु की. What does it matter to you? My life. I will do what I want. वो सब तो ठीक है. You do what you want. But Shastra says, धर्म का उल्लंघन नहीं कर सकते. Do what you want, but what is the boundary? Within dharma. Kamakarataha. So the one who is not following dharma and lives in his own marzi and his own inclinations, what does he get? Shastra says, Nasa siddhim avapnoti. He will get no success here in this world. कुछ नहीं मिलेगा उसको, उसके हाथ कुछ भी नहीं आएगा इस दुनिया में. In his whole life he will get nothing. जब जाएगा तो as if खाली होके गया. He will gain nothing in this life. Na sukham. Here sukham means after death, getting a place in heaven means better pleasures. Here he will get nothing. Na sukham. After death he doesn't get any heaven. Na param gatim. Where is the question of obtaining the para? Mukti. वो तो मिलेगा ही नहीं. Tasmad. Therefore. Shastram pramanam. According to the Shastra Praman, Shastra is the authority. Te karya akarya vyavasthitav. Whatever has Shastra designed, that understanding that you develop out of it to say this is what I should be doing and not be doing, that vyavastha, organization of what is to be done and what is not to be done. 4th chapter is going to discuss all this. These 2 words are going to be huge elaboration in the 4th chapter. What should be done, what should not be done. Yatva Shastra Vidhana Uktam. Learn, Gyatva, Jaan ke. You should जानने के बाद whatever Shastra says, Uktam. What Uktam? Shastra Vidhan. Whatever Shastra gives as a Vidhan, ये जानने के बाद कर्म कर्तुम इह arhasi. Here, now, while you're embodied, while you're waking, today you're woken up, convert your waking day as an opportunity to change the course of your life forever. Karma kartum iha arhasi. Act in accordance therewith, according to the Shastra Vidhana Uktam. Know that first. That is why all these are by the points. When the chapter comes, I hope I remember them at that time. That is why Karam Yoga will be called Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga it will be called there because you will have to know what is to be done. Buddhi employ hoti hai. So, yah Shastra Vidhimutsrijya. Therefore, the conclusion is, when it comes to Dharma, align your life following Dharma. And even when difficult situations bring conflict to you, and they seem impossible a situation, because at that time they'll be looking like an impossible situation. Extremely difficult. What happens to Arjuna in the 1st chapter, when you go through that chapter, as we have started, we will come to recognize how difficult that conflict is sometimes to resolve. Without this knowledge, people have slipped into deep depressions and psychological issues. And the right word would be they've gone astray from even a normal course of life. But with this knowledge, it helps you to handle any situation in life. Therefore, Gita prepares you by giving you the highest knowledge in our situation of life, where we are midst of experience within of our own samsara, not external, internal. External also maybe, but internal. Where this internal and external both manifest. When you know what is the right thing to do, and the Gita in the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, Krishna is addressing Arjuna's query of what is Dharma for Arjuna to follow, and that translates to our life. What is my Dharma to follow when any such conflict surfaces, and otherwise Samanya Dharmas have to be lived. So far everyone okay? We are all walking together? Great, okay. So here I will stop at this point. some of you have really shown interest in Gita chanting also, and you're following the various whatever you have discovered as your efforts. I just assess because some of you have really good interest in it. I thought we will take up the fundamentals, the rules of chanting. I'll take that up before, and as we chant every verse, we will apply those rules. For practice, you can follow so that you will know, and then you can practice also through whatever you have discovered as your means of chanting practice. Are we okay so far? I'm changing the topic now a little because we're going to get into the first verse. So we are going to take the principles of chanting, the rules that apply in chanting. Some principles, some rules related to Gita in particular. Vedic chanting is a different process completely to be learned only by the one who's knower of that. But in Gita chanting, there is a flexibility. Everyone can attempt. There is a flexibility. Now, before we chant, this is just a very general principle on Sanskrit words. All the words come from your vocal apparatus. The base of your throat, I know you can't read this, but it'll give you an idea. The base of your throat is kantaha. Higher than that, you have Murdhanya, Talavya, Murdhanya, Dantyaha, and your lips, Oshtaha. So this is the entire place of sound that a human being has. Kantaha, Talavyaha, it touches the tongue, touches the upper part. Talavyaha. Murdhanyaha is the palate. Dantaha is the teeth. Oshtaha is the lips. Now, there's some fundamental rules, more tomorrow maybe. There are a few checklists. The checklist is, first thing is the length of a vowel. Short hai ki long hai. Second is consonants, half hai ki full hai. This, when there is a line slanting at the bottom of a letter, it's halantyam, that's half. It doesn't have a vowel attached. So it has to be chanted as half without the vowel. So consonant is half of full. Full means now it has a vowel. So here it's the means the atik it's called, or takar it's called. In Sanskrit we have half letters, and when a vowel attaches, so it's become ta. Ta means, what can you hear? Plus a. Ta. What can you hear? Ta plus a. So the longer vowel, a, I, u, ta, ta. That variation. Then in chanting, the important thing that comes is the effort that you put in the right place. Where should the effort be put? It's called Mahapran, Alpapran. How much effort it takes to utter the letter. Less breath, there are a lot of mistakes in this writing. Mistakes in the sense spelling mistake, not in the content mistake, typing error. Less breath involved or more breath involved. For example, if you put your hand in front of your mouth and say ka, kha, ga, kha, what did you feel?
More air
In
comes
kha,
from ka
kha,
to
gha.
gha as we proceed.
Ka, Kha.
Ka
Between
is,
these two, Ka is?
ka is the least.
Ah,
And
Kha has more. Then Ga, Gha.
Dharma is
Gha
Zyada.
is more.
Gha is more. Now you see Ka, Ga.
The,
Ka, Ga.
okay.
Is there any variation? Ka, Ga.
The,
No, they are the same. They don't have. So whichever has less air thrown out, correct. You know, whichever has less air thrown out is alpa pran. Pran is breath. Mahapran means more breath thrown out. Then there are, in Sanskrit, we have Visargas and Anaswaras. Visarga is the two dots, Anuswara is the dot, one dot on top. We will see that, the rules that follow there. And then you have to notice the nasal letter of each group. How will we do this? This is a basic chart. Sound classification. Okay. This Na and A. Na is non-aspirate. Means alpa pran. Aspirate means mahapran. Okay. This is more important. And then from where are these sounds coming? So ka, kha, ga, gha, ga. These are all from the guttural. Kantyaha. Cha, cha, ja, cha, nya. Ya, sha. These are all talavyaha. From your palate. Ta. See, when you say ta, ta, tha, da, tha, na, ra, sh. What is happening? Ta, tha. Try saying it. Ta, tha. The tongue rolls inside in all these letters. Ta, tha, da, dha. Then ta, tha, da, tha, na, la, sa. The teeth are involved. The tongue touches the teeth. And then pa, pa, ba, pa, ma, ba. Labial. And then you have ha. Nothing is touched. Ha. Then you have a, ah. All these are open, means nothing is touched. It's just air coming out. No part is getting touched. This is the basic chart. Now we'll try and do this. I don't know how much I can do really, but let's start with the first verse today. Okay. I have just put the chart next to it so that to the verse so that you are able to connect what is what. Vowel length. In this verse, which is the vowel length? Ending letters here. Cha is a short cha. Ku is a short u. Ta is a long a. Ka, two dots is a visarga. Pa, long. Ki, ya, short. Which is the aspirate sound? Kha, cha, tha, tha, fa, gha, jha, dha, dha, ma. The yellows are indicative of hard and soft. This is more into sandhi. Then you should follow NA, NA. Non-aspirate, aspirate, non-aspirate, aspirate, non-aspirate, aspirate, non-aspirate, aspirate, aspirate. Okay, Mahapran. So, dha. Where is dha? Dha, Dhritarashtra. Say the word dha.
Dha,
Where is it touching?
dha, Pal-
There. Throat.
The
The.
so,
No.
teeth.
Teeth. The.
The
The.
here. So it is an aspirate sound. The. So you have to take like extra breath because when you say the, that much air has come out. Dhritarashtra uvacha. Va is long, cha is short. So you cannot say Dhritarashtra uvacha. If you say uvacha, so Dhritarashtra uvacha dharmakshetre kurukshetre. So you cannot say kurukshetre. Samaveta. You cannot say samaveta. Samaveta yuyutsavaha. So Visarga has that aspirate sound. Mama, spelling mistake. Mamaka. That Visarga we will do tomorrow, followed by pa, has a little special sound, like as if there's a silent. Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. Okay. So for every verse we will not go into the chanting at all, except for the verse that we are going to do. That verse we will try, and after some time it becomes a habit and it becomes very easy to follow, because I received some of your mails, so I thought it is worthwhile to give you the principle so that whenever you hear, you will know what is to be followed. And if you need to improve yourself, because only the real learned people will have the accurate chanting, all of us will only be practicing it. So, is that okay so far? Everybody okay with this? And why is chanting important? I wanted to write that, but I don't think I could put that. I couldn't write it. Chanting, we saw it in the Upadesha Sar for whoever has done it, is a karma. But without going into the details of what I did there, the root is, when you say Ramayana ka paath kar rahe hain, हनुमान चालीसा का पाठ कर रहे हैं, सुंदरकांड का पाठ कर रहे हैं. That पाठ word, the root being pat, the root actually is shabd karane. To shabd karane. Karane means karna. Shabdon ko karna. The karane, the minute you say, uttering the words, in a normal language हम सब बोल रहे हैं ना, but when you say shabd karane, what is it now pointing to? Ji? You are on mute, Neetu ji. So what does it point?
Action.
Action. Karam. Shabda karane means it's all correct. We are creating shabda. Creating not in that sense कि हम शब्द बना रहे हैं. We are performing the action. Part means now it has become action. So the normal procedure for any shastram is Shravanam, listen to the right thing. Just listen. Listening itself does a big work. A lot of knowledge is internalized by just sheer listening with faith and Shraddha and etc. Open mind. After, especially in Gita and Upanishads later, to consolidate the knowledge, पाठ करना. So you do uchcharan of these words, verses. That was called Parayanam. This itself clears a lot of obstacles in life. I'm generalizing it. Because its words are pertaining to something which is divine. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. The minute you say, whole word का meaning क्या है? Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. Bhagwan ने कहा. Uvacha is a little like a special usage, but it means said. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. And supposing ऐसे, तूने कहा. बातों में हम कहते हैं ना सबको, कहते तूने ऐसा क्यों कहा? आपने ऐसा क्यों कहा? Is there a difference in the words? So what does the Shastra Vidya do? Uchcharan of the words. And Uchcharan is supposed to be done before knowing the meaning. My one idea a long time ago was, between these two classes, I thought now that we are doing it in a proper systematic way, I should leave you all first few months only to do Parayanam. That's a traditional way. But then I realized I will not have any student. Everybody is interested in moksha. Mujhe pata do abhi karke. Who's going to go through all that? So I said, let me not take a risk. If I take that risk, it's too risky. Isse acha, we'll educate. Dheere dheere, you will have to do it anyway. Sometime you will learn. And if you don't do, it doesn't matter. Knowledge at least is what is more primary, important. But part means when you repeat that word, shabd, ek to you are purifying your own ill-used words. हमने कहा है ना, हमने बहुत यूज किए हैं, कभी एंगर में, कभी फ्रस्ट्रेशन में, कभी खुन्नस में. We have used a lot of words in our life to a lot of people that we should not be using. From which standpoint?
Dharma.
Correct. From a dharmic standpoint, they'll be prohibited. But those words are okay. From which standpoint?
Grahast.
Not just in the context of
materialistic, worldly standpoint.
Okay, but in the context in what we did, your artha and kama, if that is your pravritti, it's okay. Because that is anyway, they are the very cause of your samsara. वही तो generate करेंगे. Am I made sense? So, when you do the uchcharan, they kind of neutralize a lot of even thoughts. Plus, the biggest gain, I think, without knowing the meaning is, the mind picks the impression of the word. Iska fayda nobody can explain to you except when you know it yourself. अगर आपके मन ने वो impression पकड़ लिया, even when you do not know the meaning, this is already set you on a platform which will take you to Guru, which will take you to your gati. Because वो जो impression है ना, this is janma janmantar now, till you know the meaning. So the prakriya used to be very early, chanting Quran. It's like my mother used to say, or my aunt said, when they were kids, in those days, this was their pastime. The parents and grandparents put them into chanting of the verses. So when I said I was joined learning Gita, studying it, so my mother and my aunt said, हमें तो आता है ऐसा. First reaction, हमें तो आता है. हम तो स्कूल में chanting कर लेते थे. And my aunt, I remember, my aunt means my badi ma, so my taiji ji. She says, पूरा 12 अध्याय मुझे याद है, पूरा 15वां अध्याय मुझे याद है. So humbled definitely, because मुझे याद नहीं था, मैंने नहीं किया था, मुझे नहीं पता, मैंने पढ़ना शुरू किया है but याद नहीं किया है. What is the point? This impression will seek its answer. When you will hear the words, wherever you will hear, the mind will say, I know this, but I do not know the meaning. अर्थ नहीं पता, शब्द पता है. और जब शब्द ग्रहण हो गया, you have adopted the word, it's natural to utter the word, then the meaning fits like a glove in hand sometime or the other. And that is your inner knowledge. Nobody can take that knowledge away from you. It will not be destroyed. It cannot get diminished. That knowledge is eternal with you. So there is an advantage of Parayanam, a great advantage of Parayanam. After Parayanam, means after Part, was actually Shravan, Part. So Part, Shravan, Mananam. You reflect on it. Think. Don't adopt like first class we said. इसको सिर्फ इसलिए मत कहो कि कृष्णा ने कहा है. इसलिए मत मान जाओ. Think. If you will not think, you will never learn how to apply it in your life. Think. Mananam. See the truth of it. And then comes Nididhyasanam. In Nididhyasanam is deeper contemplation, deeper corrections, self-corrections. And then automatically it comes in Acharanam. You start abiding in it. That's the Jnani ultimately. So with this, I think we have covered. So what is the main point that we have addressed today is, can any one of you tell me the main point that either you picked up or what you thought was the main point, doesn't matter. We'll take 2 minutes and then we'll end the class.
Purpose of Gita.
Meaning of Dharma.
Correct? Dharma. Living. Sorry?
I was saying it's not answering our daily problems, but actually telling us that those problems don't exist.
Correct.
They eventually are not a problem anymore.
Correct. Correct.
And
Dharma.
Samsara cycle. The habit, void, desire. It's an unending cycle until you choose to tell yourself that the void isn't existing. It is all self-made, self-implicated.
Correct. And good point here, Shruti. Dharma has to be included in your life if you expect a change to happen.
So that's why take advantage of this human life that you have got.
Absolutely. Don't miss the chance of a human life and don't take it for granted that you have another one coming after this.
Right.
We don't know. इसमें जो, it's like bhatha pakad liya, when we girls get married, I don't know in which customs it happens in us when we get married, our mothers give us this potli. Actually it only has coconut or something very minimum, something it has, and you carry it to your next home. That is all you bring it. It's like your whole collection is now here. This is all you will carry forward. So what will you carry forward is whatever purusharth you put for your self-growth. Everything else, recycle bin. The minute the body is ready to drop, delete. The whole thing's delete. Even your E learned, A, B, C, D learned, Baba Black Ship learned, 2 into 2 is 4 learned, E is equal to MC square is learned. Everything that is learned, delete, file emptied. All that will carry is, next time, even if you hear a bell conch, temple conch, and you hear someone Sri Bhagavanu Vacha, something will trigger inside. Your curiosity will trigger because it's pertaining to you. That knowledge pertains to you, not an object. So it has its gati till you abide in the knowledge. Okay, so we will end the class here. And Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, Sarve santu niramayaha, Sarve bhadrani pashyantu, Ma kaschit dukha bhag bhave. So tomorrow, correct. So tomorrow we will go into the verse, and as the chanting comes up, we will try initially. One of you can join, and then thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om Deepti ji. Hari Om.
Hari Om,
Thank you.
Bhakti ji.
Hari
Thank
Om.
you.
Thank you so much, Deepti ji. So much.
Everyone.